If you made your way to this video, then you're probably wondering, what is the current state of Black Desert Online? Is it worth coming back to if you're a returning player, or is it worth picking up if you're a brand new player? Well, by the power vested in me by this Charizard, I am more than qualified to answer those questions. Hey guys, Pansy here, and if you don't know me, I've been playing BDO since January of 2020. I've been making content on it since then as well. On a yearly basis, I go over the topic of the current state of BDO, and this is the third time I'm doing it. And in about 2 weeks from release of this video, it'll be officially a year, so I thought it was a good time to do it. There's been a lot of changes over the past year, and I don't have enough time to go over all of them. The video will be like an hour and a half if I did, but I'm going to go over all of the major changes that matter to me and I think will interest you guys. And we're going to talk about them really quick, how they played out and how it affected the game, what I think about them, and at the end we're going to go over the main question here. Is it worth playing? Is it worth coming back to or starting as a new player? And what is the current state of BDO? With that being said, let's go over the sponsor of today's video and then we'll dive right into it. Are you tired of mobile games with boring graphics and the same old themes? Are you looking to take an adventure through a beautiful Oriental fantasy MMORPG? Well then, let me tell you about the sponsor of this video, Divine W Perfect Wonderland. Divine W Perfect Wonderland is a gorgeous open world mobile MMORPG which spans over 60,000 kilometers of seamless maps. Come embark on an immersive journey of swords and magic. The aesthetics of this game are elegant and mesmerizing. You can choose from 8 roles and switch between 2 forms, normal form and the demon form. Each form has its own unique visuals and skill sets. Fight mythical beast bosses, strengthen your role to become a mighty kung fu warrior, and take part in epic battles. But Divine W isn't just about fighting and combat. It also boasts some leisurely gameplay such as fishing and even in-game marriages. Divine W Perfect Wonderland is coming to Android and iOS on September 15th. Log in to get your free SSR role and rewards worth 1 billion in-game. Also check out the official Facebook page for a chance to win an iPhone 14 Pro Max, PS5, Nintendo Switch, and other awesome gifts. Visualize your imagination with Divine W Perfect Wonderland. Alright guys, let's get to it. As you can see here, we're joined by my Mystic again, and my brand new Unicorn all the way up in the top. I don't know why I put him there. Anyway, let's get started with the major changes that I found notable and I think you would find interesting as well. First up are the reboots and the class changes, the revamp of a bunch of classes. This was a huge success. They did a great job with it. I know not everyone was happy and some people felt let down, but I think overall it was a great positive for the BDO community. We saw player numbers go way through the roof and it spiked up insanely, brought a lot of players back into the game. Many classes got powered up and a lot more became viable in PvE and PvP, but especially PvE. A lot of classes are grinding real well now and improved insanely since then. The game became a lot more fun in my opinion because the combat fluidity, the visual effects, and also the effectiveness of all the classes were improved immensely. And tagging became cheaper by 50%, so we're able to enjoy our alts a lot better. But of course, we got more powerful classes. That's not enough. We need to make a lot more money, not just a little bit. Hell yeah, we got the Elvia expansion. We got Serendia Elvia. We got more grind spots. It spread a lot of the players apart, and you know, we even got the rework to Gyfin Razia Underground. That's awesome. And that was a really good thing because we were all clustered in just a few grind spots like orcs and stuff, and everyone was fighting over it. Now it's a lot more chill than it used to be, and the money per hour at the high end went way up. Grinding is the best money per hour in the game now, not life skilling, but you know, players are making over $1 billion an hour very easily now at the high end. Next up, let's talk about the winter region. The map was expanded, a new region was added with a whole new area to explore, a new quest line, main story quest line, new recipes, grind spots, and even new armor, the Labreska helmet, which is akin to the Fallen God armor. And of course, most notably of the winter region expansion wasn't just the winter region, but the new class which was added, Dracania. Dracania was an interesting class, I must say. The Awakening has the most unique Awakening design in the game. It has a bunch of skills. It has stance dancing going between 2 forms, which is awesome. It looks really cool and feels good. But the Succession was sadly really overpowered when it came out, and they were super slow to nerf it. It caused a lot of problem in the PvP meta and the end game. It was so tanky. It had mobility. It had a lot of super armors. It had a bubble, which can you know, make it immune to damage and heal up. And the damage of its skills were insane, like one tapping people left and right. It was an atrocity. They did a terrible job with the class balancing there. They really need to be a lot more quick on that, because that does affect a lot of players. One of the most fun updates though was definitely the Lightstones and the artifacts, because this was a really good change for us. As you can see here, these are the two artifacts I have equipped, and the Lightstones are socketed into them like gems. And this opened the door for us to customize our combat builds, PvP builds and such, so we can go more into an evasion build or get more accuracy where we need it, or just go raw damage and do a lot more damage in PvE, which is great. It made everyone a lot stronger, and also it made life skilling a lot more fun, like because we have all these interesting effects which made life skilling a lot better. For example, the cooking one. The cooking one is crazy. -2 second cooking. That's insane. And overall, this was executed really well. There was no pay to win mechanics. Only thing is, it's really difficult to roll some of the Lightstones, but I understand when there's so many players all rolling for them. You don't want it to flood the market and everything be readily available. You want some of them to be rare, so I can understand that. But overall, I think this was a really good addition to the game, and it was executed in a really nice manner. I honestly didn't feel overwhelmed at all. I didn't feel like I was falling behind or anything. It was nice and simple. I think everyone loved it, but it was a good addition to the game. But you know which update I think was the most useful for all the players in the game? I think that would have to be the Marni Servers. So we actually have our own personal grind spots every day for 1 hour, 1 hour and 5 minutes to be exact. But it's basically an instance of the main rotation of a grind spot you choose. And most of the grind spots, all the notable ones, have this feature, so you can go there, you can jump into the Marni realm, and you can grind in peace for a whole hour and 5 minutes without anyone bothering you. And I think that was amazing. Like, it's something that really needed to happen, because the griefing is just so annoying, especially if you're like, you know, mid-geared and you're like 650 gear score or something, and someone rolls into like orcs at 700, 720, 730 gear score, you can't even touch them. Like, literally, you don't do any damage to them. They can one-shot you, bully you out of your spot, and it's just so toxic sometimes, and you just don't want to deal with that when you just come home from work. You only have like 2 hours to play. You want to get some solid grinding done and stuff. But you know, it was a great addition to the game. It definitely made the game feel a bit more empty on the grinding spot side, which honestly, because of how BDO is, as soon as you see someone, you're like, oh, god damn it. So it was a good addition to the game overall, and it was executed pretty well. It did take longer than expected to get it, but hey, now we got it. It's here to stay, and all in all, I was happy with it. Of all the changes that happened over the past year, the next one is probably the most entertaining one, and I know a lot of us had fun with it on streams and stuff, watching your favorite PvPers going at it and stuff. But hey, Arena of Solare was one of the peak content updates of the past year, hands down. It's a normalized PvP 3v3 arena. It has random queue. You can't queue in as a pre-made yet. Maybe they'll add it in the future, but it was definitely exciting to watch a lot of people go at it. And you know, some of the stuff we saw were crazy, like people pulling off some insane 3v1s. And in Arena of Solare, your damage is greatly nerfed, so you're not one banging anybody. Like, you have to properly combo people, you know. Some classes are able to kill people with, like, you know, just 1 CC or in 1 combo, but most classes need like 2 combos. So it was insane. It was really fun. However, there were a lot of desync issues, map issues. I fell through the ground so many times and lost a round and stuff, which was annoying. You know, the bugs still persist, but they're working out there. They're improving it. Overall, though, one of my biggest gripes with this is that they couldn't fit in gear progression with this. Like, I was talking about this for months before it even came out, that they need to allow us to progress our gear by playing Arena of Solare. Like, you know, even if it's not much, even if it's only like 300-400 mil an hour, that's more than enough. We make 500 mil an hour hands down easy in the game now. High end, we're making over $1 bill an hour. I don't think 300 to 400 mil an hour is too much to ask. The issue is, for someone like me who was at like 663 gear score, I was in a really pivotal point of my progression. I needed to spend the time grinding. Like, I can't play Arena of Solare for like 2 to 3 hours a day trying to climb the ladder. It was a waste of time. I'm losing money by not grinding and not focusing on my gear. So I always felt bad playing it. So I wish they really did try to incorporate it in one way or another. I know they added some little rewards now, but it's not enough. They need to make it a lot more significant so people actually think, hey, I can go to BDO and do some hardcore PvP, and that can be my main thing. I don't need to spend 1,000 hours to get to endgame to do that, right? Anyway, that's my opinion, but overall, I'd have to unfortunately rate Arena of Solare at like 5 out of 10. But if they did fix the, you know, desync issues and the map issues and those bugs, but also added some sort of better money-making method by PvPing to Arena of Solare, that'd easily be an 8 out of 10, because it is really fun to do. It was an interesting ad. They executed it in a great manner where you can pick and choose your gear pieces. While that does need some balancing, I do like that being there. Overall, those are my thoughts on Arena of Solare. It was one of the bigger drops of this year, so yeah. But that wasn't everything for PvP. We also got a new RBF, the Valencia RBF. Now that replaced Castle Ruins as the main RBF. Now I know some of you didn't like it, but I liked it, okay? It let me do a lot more than just Castle Ruins dying with the Zerg, getting nuked by wizards standing on top of ruins. Now I get nuked by wizards standing on top of buildings. Big difference. But hey, let's talk about life skillers now. What did the life skillers get over the past year? Well, let me tell you. Gathering got more loot, random drops, spawns, and other stuff, which increased our money per hour pretty good. I could go to Bear and just grind out herbs, and I'm making like well over 2 to 3 times of what I used to make 2 years ago at the same spot. The gathering mats had their prices increase quite decently for things like meats and bloods and even Roughstone. Thus, it did increase the overall money per hour, but hunting got buffed significantly. The amount of bloods and meat you get were increased, as well as the value of these. So you're making a lot more quick silver. You just had to go hunt for an hour or two and just sell it, and you easily had hundreds of millions. Like I was making around 600 to 700 mil an hour with only 1500 hunting mastery. It was insane, and it was like pretty low effort. It's chill. I really enjoyed it. So with the price of the meat and the bloods going up, you know, cooking and stuff also fluctuated a bit, but because of the Lightstones, it did have somewhat of an impact where there are a lot more people cooking at the high-end mastery now. But, you know, overall, you're still able to make money there. Bartering and trading, however, did get kind of shafted. They only got minor buffs and little things added to them. We still need a big revamp, especially trading. But I think bartering also needs to start making a lot more money. Like bartering with all your uses for the day, it takes like, what, 3 to 4 hours? I mean, maybe at the high end with a really good ship, you can do it quicker, but whatever. The thing is, in 3 to 4 hours, you're making like 600 to 800 mil per day. Now we're making that in an hour of grinding. I think we should at least bring that up to like 2 bill. Like, I think that's fair. So hopefully we'll see some changes to bartering, but you know, trading definitely needs it. Bartering did get a slight change that now you can solo crocodiles, saltwater crocodiles on your own, which is great. But you know, I think people still underestimate that, because that is an alternative to one of the more difficult merchant ring pieces. So just keep that in mind. And lastly, they did a lot of quality of life changes. I can't name them off the top of my head, but they always keep doing these, and they're all these little things that is like, thank you for doing that. I didn't know I wanted it, but I like it. And the way they implemented the changes over the last year, like for example, with the ferry, the T5 ferry, you know, it could have been worse. I know some people didn't like that, you know, you still had to use fairy orbs to reroll the skills. That is one of the pay to win sinkholes in the game. But at least over the past year, on the year and a half or so, they didn't add anything new in terms of pay to win. You know, they've been pretty chill in that regards. Like they could have easily tried to make the Lightstones and artifacts somewhat pay to win, or added some pay to win element, like something to cash up, like to extract their stones or something, right? They could have done that. They didn't. So, you know, I'm happy for that. They also increased the amount of cronstones you get from extracting costumes, which I hate enhancing. I hate the whole concept of it. It's terrible, but you know, it was in a bad state. They made it a little bit better. You get more cronstones, like the costume can be sold for more silver, so it's worth for some whale to come by and actually sell them. So in NA, at least, you can find costumes on the market and easily pre-order them. At least easier than before. I know other regions are still struggling. It's not my fault. Some people are cheap. Kidding. But you know, better than before. It was a win-win. So hey, enhancing still toxic as hell. The game is still as pay to win as it was a year ago. Maintain the status quo. At least now we can enhance a bit easier in terms of getting the cronstones and outfits. So even though it's like not much, it's a tiny improvement in my opinion. It's still net positive, I guess. But hey, I hope someday they do, you know, stop being afraid and take on enhancing and revamp the shit out of it. They probably won't, but I can dream, right? All right, it's finally time. Let's talk about it. The current state of BDO. Overall, I think the game is improving. It's always been improving, and that's where you have to give Pearl Abyss credit. Not many game companies are out there actually trying to actively improve their game the way they're trying to. So, I mean, that's a good thing, but I wish they'd stop beating around the bush on the main things that hold people back. Like, I've released many videos where I talked about, you know, why people quit the game or why the game's not going to be mainstream. And in the comments, you can read clearly all the annoyances and hateful things that the people hold in their minds based on this game. Like, no one likes enhancing. It is a terrible feature. I know there's like a small subset who like the dopamine spike, who like gambling, and that's what's fun to them. I mean, great, but if you look at the majority of the players, they're gonna say, yeah, it sucks. If a super majority of the players say, hey, we don't like something, I think you should listen to them, right? Like, the enhancing system is just toxic. There's no other way to explain that. I really wish they would fix it. Honestly, that's something that really holds back this game, but that's not it. There's still more. The amount of time it takes to get to end game is also something that holds a lot of players back. For all the good that this game has, like, there's no game with the graphics like BDO, or, you know, the things that you can do in BDO, like, you know, open world PvP. You got that. You got a lot of customization. You have excellent gameplay in terms of combat. Like, no other game matches BDO right now. Like, you can openly say no other game out there as an MMORPG boasts the combat system like BDO. And the fact that we have so many classes, what, like 24, and then most of them have 2 specs to them, so huge variety in playstyle. So for all the good that it has, it's so unfortunate that it's this little things that really hold it back. Like, why do you want a player to grind for 1,000 hours? Why do you want them to go through this enhancing toxicity? Like, answer that question honestly. Like, I'm interested to know. That's all. I just want to know why. Now I'm going to take a look at the player numbers. So this is not going to be an accurate estimate of how many players actually played the game, because this is only Steam and this is only for North America and maybe EU. I think both of them are clubbed together. I'm not sure on that, but I hope they're not. Anyway, we could also take a look at the SA region as well. But anyway, if you look at this, if you look at the numbers here, let's see 1 year, or let's see it from all. You'll see overall, these are the numbers that we've seen from BDO since the Steam launch, right? There's been some crazy peaks over the years, and the most recent peak would probably be once we had the reboot. So we peaked at around 25k, and then I think in March is when the winter region came out, I want to say, so it peaked again. So if you look at the 1 year mark, I mean, it's been fluctuating, but every time we had a peak, they never retained those players. And, you know, it's one of those things that I talk about. The main things that hold people back are the gear progression, the amount of time you're expected to invest. Some people will disagree because they already did the grind, but you know, if you want to improve the game and actually retain players, this is how you do it. You got to actually improve the core mechanics which hold people back, or, you know, make people quit the game. But all we see is huge fluctuations, which is not bad. These are respectable numbers, but I personally would like to see it be going up over the years, you know? So unfortunately, we don't see that. Even in the other region, I'm sure it's going to be a similar number. Yep. So this is a bit younger in terms of the age, but the spikes are pretty similar in the same time periods. So, or similar time periods. But anyway, overall, they're not retaining the player base, unfortunately. They do have a core community who play the game, but, you know, it's really difficult to convert a new person who walks into BDO, trying out a new game, into an end game player. It is a very difficult task. So I do hope they do work on these. But overall, as you can see, this game is not dead. They have a lot of people playing the game, going through the towns, playing, running around in the open world. You'll always run into players. It is not dead by any means, and I don't anticipate to be going down anytime soon. I can safely say over the next 5 years, this game is still going to stay relevant, but I feel like they're going to be stagnant, if not decline a little bit more in terms of numbers. That's my prediction. But, you know, they could shock us all. They could come by and say, you know what, we're going to fix the biggest issues that make people quit, and it might be a better game. But anyway, But overall, you know, is what it is. Now, after you guys heard all that, you might be thinking, hey, this guy's probably not going to recommend this game, but I would recommend this game, but with some caveats. Let's say you are a returning player who already played to get like 600 to 650 gear score. You took a bit of a break, maybe a year or so, but now you want to come back to the game. Is it worth you coming back? I think you'll have fun. I think all the additions that came over the past year, they're a positive plus point. I think you would definitely have fun coming back to the game, and it's definitely worth logging into. Now, do you only have like 2 hours to play? Or let's say you're a new player, you've never played the game before. Well, there's another caveat. Do you want to be at the top tier, like competing with the best of the best in the game and competing at the highest level of open world PvP and sieges and stuff? Well, if that's the case, then I would have to put in another clause like, do you have 10 hours a day to play the game? Because unfortunately, it takes an immense amount of hours to get to end game. You know, I'm estimating like 1,000 hours, and that's being generous because you're not playing effectively for 1,000 hours because there's a lot of time you're running in between doing other things, AFKing and stuff. So a lot of us have like 3, 4, 5, 10,000 hours in the game, but you know, we definitely don't have 1,000 hours of effective grinding at a high tier place or something. So, you know, if you don't have a lot of time, or if you're looking to compete with the top tier players and you're just starting out, I don't think you can catch up. Just saying. If you want to play this game for fun, if you want to play this game for its awesome graphics, its amazing combat, the depth and the life skills, the community, because it is a very active game with active guilds, and you know, it's something nice you can play with your friends and just enjoy yourselves. As long as you push the idea of endgame PvP out of your mind, I think you'll be fine. So with those caveats in mind, I know it's not the ideal thing to say. I know it's not as simple as saying, yes, this game is worth playing, or no, it's not. So my apologies for that, but it's the honest truth. Like, for a new player to come into this game, to pick up the game, because it is pretty complex, it takes relatively a long time compared to other games to, you know, understand the ins and outs and all the small nuances of the game. But, you know, that size says it all, right? It's a beautiful fucking game. Like, absolutely. This game just blows my mind every time I see the graphics and remastered and stuff. But at the same time, it's really depressing to think about the sheer number of hours it takes to gear up to compete with the end game players in sieges and end game PvP content. And that's like the peak of the game. That's like the main thing that you're working towards. Why are you grinding? So you can get stronger, so you can make money faster and buy that end game PvP gear and compete. There's no hardcore PvE content other than running in a circle killing mobs. So, you know, PvP is the hardcore end game content in this game. It is nice that we have Arena of Solare. I really hope they improve that. But, you know, even if you're a new player coming in, you're gonna get beat up for at least a couple months compared to like the top tier players at the high ranks. Like, honestly, this game is very complex. There are 24 classes. Each class has 2 specs except for 2, and there's so many mechanics and play styles and all these intricate details you need to learn and build into your muscle memory, especially depending on which class you pick. So it takes a lot of time and effort and practice to get good in PvP in this game. It's not an easy game. Like, there are a lot of easier games out there. This is definitely a more difficult PvP game. And like the end game PvPers in this game, I can respect them because it does take skill to get good. Now, I know there are cheese classes, but overall, when you put them all together and tell them to fight it out, you'll see some amazing plays, and it is very entertaining to watch. But as a new player, be warned. But you know what, guys? As a closing note, it doesn't matter what my opinion is or what any content creator says. It doesn't matter what Lazy Peon thinks or Asmongold thinks about this game. It just doesn't matter. What matters is what you think and that you're having fun, because a lot of us grinded this game and we went on grinding like machines and not having any fun during the process. As long as you're having fun, it doesn't matter if you put 1 hour into this game or 10,000 hours. As long as you're having fun, it's worth playing. So just ask yourself this: are you enjoying the game? Are you having fun? You know, give it a try. If you are, by all means, that's what counts. That's what matters. At the end of the day, it's not like you're putting an investment in unless you're trying to be a streamer or a content creator. And in that case, BDO is actually a pretty good community to start off with, by the way. But you know, what matters is you have fun. I hope that my opinions here helped you get an insight into the current state of BDO. Overall, it is a positive. However, there are the caveats you have to take into consideration, and I hope it does help you guys. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Whether you liked it or not, please let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about the current state of BDO. And once again, be sure to check out the sponsor of this video, Divine W, Perfect Wonderland. They're releasing very soon, so be sure to pre-register, log in, get your rewards, and enjoy the game. If you did like this video, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know. Hit the bell icon so you get notifications when I drop a new video or go live on YouTube. And check me out at twitch.tv/I'mPansy. I've been doing a lot of variety MMORPG gaming lately, and that's all I love playing. I love MMORPGs. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.